Eminem has always been a very popular rapper, starting in his teenage years, rapping with his friends, to becoming a vital part of hip-hop history. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the life of Eminem, in chronological order, from his early years to present day. So, let's get started. Marshall Bruce Mathers III, or better known as Eminem, was born on October 17, 1972, in Missouri, America. His father left him before age 1, so he was raised by his mother, Debbie Mathers. As a child, he kept moving from house to house and often would have to move school very often. He got into rap by hearing his first rap song called Reckless from the Break-In soundtrack. In 1982, he was beaten up by a school bully called D'Angelo Bailey, who caused him to pass out, and he was put into a coma for 2 days. His mother tried to sue the school, but they said it wasn't their responsibility for what Bailey did. When Eminem was in high school, he met his best friend Proof. In 1988, Eminem joined a group called the New Jacks, and they released an EP called New Jacks EP, featuring Eminem's first song called Eat It.
16 years old, ain't completely unstoppable. Can't be dropped, so I'm considered undroppable. Step my way, and you must be insane. Don't come near me if you don't like pain.
The DJ for the group DJ Butterfingers eventually uploaded all their songs onto YouTube. The New Jacks eventually rebranded to Soul Intent, and then eventually they stopped the group after he formed D12 with many Detroit rappers. In 1996, Eminem released an album with a record label called Webster Entertainment, and it was an absolute flop with only 1,000 copies sold. He did a few songs by himself and some with D12, with a total of 10 tracks in total. Then the next year, he released his only EP called the Slim Shady EP, featuring 10 tracks, and this EP only sold about 4,000 copies. At the Rap Olympics 1997, a kid named Dean Geislinger got a tape signed by Eminem and happened to be friends with Jimmy Iovine, CEO of Interscope, who gave it to Dr. Dre, and he loved it and arranged to meet Eminem in the studio. Eminem got to the studio, and Dr. Dre said, "I got this sample, see if you like it." Then Dre played the beat for My Name Is, and a few seconds later, Eminem started rapping the chorus to My Name Is. Then Eminem and Dre did more songs for his first successful album, the Slim Shady LP, which sold 14 million copies worldwide and made Eminem the rich rapper he is now. Eminem helped Dr. Dre with his album 2001, with songs like What's the Difference and Forgot About Dre. Also, in 1999, he started his own record label called Shady Records with Paul Rosenberg, won several awards such as the EMAs, VMAs, and Teen Choice Awards, and got married to Kim Scott. However, he faced a few problems in his life, such as him touring so much that he never got to spend time with his family, or him dissing his mum on My Name Is, which resulted in her getting such a bad reputation she couldn't go get groceries because of what Eminem said about her. The next year, Eminem released what his fans call his best album, the Marshall Mathers LP. This featured many of his popular songs, such as Stan and The Real Slim Shady, but with this album, he dissed his mum even more. He again won several more awards and was part of Dr. Dre's Smoke Tour. And in 2000, he released a web series called The Slim Shady Show, which eventually got aired on TV and then got DVD releases, but the show was a complete flop as people didn't like the way it was animated and how it was a copy of South Park. The next year in 2001, Eminem's group D12 released their first album called Devil's Night, which was a good success, but in the background, Eminem's career was getting ruined because his songs kept getting leaked onto websites like Napster and LimeWire, which means he wasn't getting as much money from CD sales. Eminem also famously performed his song Stan with Elton John for the 43rd Annual Grammy Awards because people thought he was homophobic. In 2002, the film 8 Mile, starring Eminem, came out and was a massive success, earning nearly $250 million, and Eminem won an Oscar, but that day he didn't go because he didn't think he'd make it, and just watched cartoons with his daughter Haley instead. That same year, he released what fans call one of his greatest albums, The Eminem Show, featuring songs such as Without Me and Till I Collapse. The album release date was supposed to be in June, but got pushed forward to May because leaks were already spreading on the internet. Also in the album, Eminem raps about being single because he got divorced the year before. 2002 was a good year for Eminem, but something very big happened the next year in 2003. Eminem found a New York rapper called 50 Cent, and Eminem produced the songs for his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. From that day, Eminem, Dre, and 50 Cent became great friends and still are to this day. That same year, Ja Rule dissed Eminem, so Eminem and 50 Cent dissed back with the track Bumpheads. In 2004, D12 released their second album, D12 World, with songs such as Purple Pills and My Band, and later that year, Eminem released his album Encore, with songs such as Mockingbird and Just Lose It. The next year, in 2005, Eminem started gaining weight, which was unhealthy for his health, and he released his greatest hits album, Curtain Call, which featured many of his hit songs and 3 extra songs, When I'm Gone, Shake That, and Fack. In 2006, Eminem got remarried to Kim, but then disaster happened. His best friend, Proof, and member of D12, was shot in a club in Detroit, which caused Eminem to become depressed, and in 2007, he nearly died of a drug overdose. In 2008, he went into rehab, and still is today, and he had to relearn how to rap, and he regularly exercised to get fit again. There are many theories speculating that Eminem died in 2007, and the one now is a clone of him, because they are both so different. In 2009, he released his album Relapse, featuring songs such as Beautiful and Crack a Bottle, and the album was a success, and it was the first time Eminem released something new for 4 years. The next year, in 2010, he released his album Recovery, with songs such as Not Afraid and Love the Way You Lie, with Rihanna, and the album as a massive success, selling about 20 million copies. And that year, they finally found out who was leaking Eminem's songs because he admitted to testing the CDs after Eminem had recorded them and instead shared them online. In 2011, someone else had leaked Eminem's songs for an album or mixtape called The Shady Project, featuring a song called Cocaine. And the year after, a rapper called Machine Gun Kelly posted on Twitter that Eminem's oldest daughter Haley, who was only 16 at the time, was hot, and this is what started the beef with Eminem and MGK. In 2013, he released his album The Marshall Mathers LP 2, which featured songs such as Rap God and The Monster. The album was a huge success and featured the song Headlights, in which he apologized to his mum for everything he said to her. In 2017, Eminem released one of his biggest flops, his album Revival, which his fans didn't like and agree that it's his worst album. In 2018, by complete surprise, Eminem released his album Kamikaze, featuring his hit song Venom, and a couple weeks later, he released his diss track to MGK called Kill Shot, which ruined his reputation so much that he changed from making rap music to rock music. Then, in 2020, he released his album Music to be Murdered By, featuring his song Godzilla with Juice WRLD. In 2022, he released Curtain Call 2, featuring songs from 2009 to 2022, and he released his newest album, The Death of Slim Shady, which featured songs such as Toby and Houdini. A lot has happened this year, such as him being at the MTV VMAs, his daughter getting married, and her getting pregnant with a baby boy. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end, because yesterday, from this video upload date, Eminem's mum passed away from lung cancer at age 69. And this is the end of the story about how Eminem became one of the most famous icons in hip-hop history. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe for more stories like this.